Hey, all, welcome to Embracing Expansion with me, Finesse. I am so happy to see you today. I'm happy you stopped by. If you are having a beautiful day, I hope it gets even more beautiful. I hope that you find something on this page to enlighten you, to encourage you, to motivate you, to make you feel excited about life, okay? Today I wanted to talk about something that is very personal to me. I did touch on it in last week's Worthy Reads, where I spoke about the book The Vortex, because it was a book that really helped me to get over it. I wanted to talk about family trauma. It is such a common thing. It is, and it's relative. So what might not be that bad to you might be worse to someone, and what your worst might be someone's, it's nothing, you know? And the truth is, everyone has a story. I used to think that family trauma would be from single parent homes or from adopted homes or extended family homes. It's everyone has that foundation sometimes of what's challenging in certain ways, in certain areas, whether it doesn't matter. It's not relative to your wealth or your level of wealth. It's just something that everyone goes through, you know. I would say that I have quite a few friends who have varying levels of family trauma. All right, some of us have gone through sexual abuse, some just have maybe physical abuse, maybe verbal abuse, maybe we didn't have a parent around, or our parents they just didn't care, or it varies, right? However, I want to speak about family trauma not necessarily from a negative perspective today. I try to keep my approach on this page, Embracing Expansion, positive, because I don't want to deter you or remind you of the hardships that you have faced or are facing. I believe that we are here to expand, and this is the basis of my page, to allow you to hopefully help you to understand that expansion is necessary and it's not a bad thing. Expansion can only happen when we are in situations that make us a little bit uncomfortable, situations that show us what we want, what we don't want, who we want to be, who we don't want to be. All right? And I believe that we chose to be here. We chose our families. You chose your parents. I chose my parents. And we're born into these environments of contrast, because these environments help us to learn who we are, who we want to be. All right? We don't. If life is perfect, we're not learning and we're not growing if everything is just peaches, you know, like we won't learn and we won't grow. I have met many people from many walks of life. Some of them are my friends to this day, and we all have had some level of family trauma, okay? It's funny because if you think about it, we always find ourselves with we always attract people who have had similar walks of life to us, or past or experiences to us, similar experiences to us, you know. And this is I guess, a mirror. We don't often see it like that. We just find the commonalities and we feel comfortable, but it is really a mirror that should cause us to analyze and reflect on ourselves. Oftentimes when I'm going through something and someone else is going through a similar thing, or I relate to one of my friends, one of my past traumas, and they tell me about this, I love to help and to offer advice. So my first thought is, how can I help? And I would just start speaking to them about how they can deal with theirs. And I start feeling like, well, I can do that too. So why didn't I think of that until you told me? So this is how it works from a mirror perspective. Okay? Getting over or through trauma, you have to forgive. You have to forgive all parties involved, including yourself. We have to understand that our parents, I'm 36, and my mom had me really young. And I call myself her practice baby, you know. And I started calling myself that maybe when I started getting into my personal development books, etc. Because I realized that she didn't know. She was really just doing what she thought was best. In fact, both my parents were, you know, they were pretty much kids raising a kid. And I had to bring myself to an understanding about that there's really no one at fault, you know, because we are all in each moment doing the best with what we can and what we know and what we have, you know. So that's where it started for me. I went through processes of talking to myself about it. When I'm alone, I spoke to myself about it. I wrote about it in my diary. I'm a musician, so I wrote songs to release based on what I observed, not necessarily about what I went through, but based on what I observed. From, if I were to like empathize with my mom or my dad, I wrote songs about those things. I wrote poetry about those things. I even wrote, and what really started helping me to make a turn was when I started writing from a positive perspective. So I wouldn't write songs that magnified my hurt, or even focused too much on the hurt aspect of it. I would write about how I would have hoped it would be, how, what I wanted my life to be like. And I even got into a pattern of pretending. Like, when you're a kid and you pretend your life is good. That's what got me through a lot of like really hard times. However, as I grew up, of course, you have to face reality and you have to deal with stuff, right? So I, first of all, my initial action towards moving on from it was writing a letter to my parents. And thereafter, I rescinded that letter because I learned something new. I learned something more. I learned what I just said to you, that they were just doing the best that they can with what they knew. So I told them, you know what? I don't want you to feel bad, because by me, like, imagine yourself as a parent hearing from your child that you failed them, and that just makes you feel bad, especially with our parents that, they're older, and, things kind of affect them a lot easier now, I would say, or I guess from what I've understood about growing up. You feel like you've lived your entire life doing all what you can for that child to the best of your knowledge and ability, and that child tells you after all these years that you failed them. So I empathize with them on that, and I basically told them, not like, just ignore what I said. I appreciate what you've done, and I'm not in a worse situation because of my life. I was exposed to various experiences, and they have allowed me to choose for myself the path that I want for my life, where I want my life to go, who I want to be as a person. So if I hadn't experienced those things, I have no idea who I'd be, because those things helped to shape me into who I am today. I feel like we need to like get rid of the poor me mindset. If my parents did this for me, then I wouldn't have been here. I think that everyone's life is really in their hands, because when it comes to the direction, because you have the power to choose. Regardless of what someone does to you, you have the power to choose. I remember being without food, and being without a place to stay, or not having utilities, and all of those things. And to be honest, I remember telling myself in these moments, this just makes my story more interesting. I don't know why. I guess I felt like eventually I'd have to talk about my life, or I'd want to share it, or it was meaningful. Or when you watch a movie, and I thought of my life as a movie. Like, when you watch a movie and it starts off normal, and then there's the issue, the problem, and then you see how it works out towards the end and everyone's happy. That's always how I've seen my life, a thought of my life. So, and continuously. So every time I get a little hurdle, I just tell myself it makes my story more interesting, because I also believe that I'm here to inspire people through my experience. And if I don't experience anything, then what do I have to talk about? If we don't experience contrast, what do we have to talk about? Well, how do we grow? Well, how are we able to encourage someone? I've learned that the motivation you get the most comes from the people who have actually lived the experiences that you're going through. The advice you get is more meaningful from people who have actually gotten through it, or people maybe you've observed. They don't even have to tell you. You just look at their life and you see, if they can do it, I can do it too. So this is pretty much how I got over my family trauma. We have to forgive ourselves, because it's not our fault, especially if we're children in the situation, and nor was it our parents' fault or whoever's fault, because people are always doing what is best to them in each moment, for them in each moment, and to them in each moment, and that varies. I don't think, like, if my parents had more money or more education or anything, that I would have had the life that I had. Think about it. Like, think about your life now, like your parents, sorry, think about your parents and the things that they didn't have, and think of the possibility of, or like an instant of them having the things that they didn't have that you felt that you needed as a child. If they had it, do you think that they would have still been or allowed you in certain situations or to go through certain things? I don't think so. I can say that I don't think so. And regardless of if they did, like, we are here to grow, and we chose our parents. We really did choose them. We chose to enter life into this environment, the environment of contrast that we entered it into, so that we can expand, we can learn, we can grow, we can be even more clear of who we are and our path, on our path and our reasoning, So I think it's very important, especially if it's you're no longer living in it. If you're an adult, it's very important that you just let it go. That's all you have to do. It might sound harsh, but we just have to let it go. We have to let it go because we are no longer, if you are physically out of an experience, why would you mentally keep reliving that experience? Allowing that, mentally reliving it causes it to affect your immediate physical existence. Okay? We have to, you may never get apologies. You may never get explanations. Unfortunately, if your parents have passed, or one of the person or persons who have hurt you have moved past or have passed on or moved on, then you are doing yourself a disservice by holding on to that anger. That anger, as I say that, I remember this poster I have up in my room that says, "Anger is a punishment we give to ourselves for the actions of others." You cannot be punishing yourself. We cannot punish ourselves for the actions of others, and that's essentially the basis of anger. Someone does something to you and you get mad. Do your feelings make them not do the bad thing? Do your feelings make them, does your feelings of anger make the bad thing go away? No, it just makes you, it just puts you in a negative headspace. I want to encourage each and every one of you to, if you have experienced family trauma, if you are in it, you can get out of it, okay? Especially if you're an adult in it, and even if you're a child in it, you can get out of it, and you will. But you have to focus on, this is there to help you to decide who you want to be and where you want your life to go. You can speak to someone about it. You can speak to someone about it to help get you out of it. You can also choose to focus on what you do have going for you. I remember telling myself in high school, because that was when I really was going through most of it. I remember saying I can't wait to turn 15 so that I could get out of here. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't know where my life was going to go. I just knew that at 15, when I graduated, because I graduated at 15, and I turned 16 in the summer after graduation of that year. And I remember saying, I just want to graduate and get my good grades so that I could get out. And that's what I did. And it took me a very long time. I became homeless. I was, it was hard to keep a job because of finances, getting to and from work and everything. But I kept pushing, and I just kept telling myself that this is going to just make my story more interesting. What is life if we don't have these challenges, these experiences that help us to learn more about ourselves and where we want our lives to go? It might not, if you're in this situation now, talk to someone about it. Sometimes we even need to talk to our parents about it instead of talking to someone else, because remember, everyone is doing the best that they know in each moment, so they may not be aware of the effect their actions or lack of actions or words or lack of words are having on you. I wish that I had a conversation with my mother or my dad as well. I wish that in those moments I had a conversation with them. I really do, because I feel like looking back on it, they would have been receptive to the conversation, but I wasn't that mature yet. So this is just me thinking, what if now? However, where I'm in my life now is at a place of forgiveness, where I just know that parents are not ever there's no rule book for parenting. There's no rule book for life. We learn as we go and we grow, so if you're not, don't do anything for the other people. Do it for you. Forgive your parents for yourself. Trust that they did. Tell yourself that they did what they only did the best that they knew in that moment or in each moment. I don't think any parent wants to see their child fail or be, and even if they did, that is not your problem. you have to remember that you came in, you chose to be here in that environment of contrast, and only you can get yourself out of it. Don't allow the actions or words of other people to determine where your life goes. In fact, let it motivate you to make your life better. If the words are bad, let it motivate you to make your life better. I just had my vision of my life in my head, and I'm living it today. I can't tell you that it was easy. I can tell you that it is worth it. I can tell you that I am so grateful that I can sit here today and tell you that forgiveness is for you and not for them. It really is for you. Forgive your parents, forgive yourself, forgive everyone who has hurt you intentionally or unintentionally, directly or indirectly. It serves you nothing. Holding on to grudges and anger serves you nothing. So forgive your parents, you know. That's how we get over trauma, by forgiving. That's how you get over family trauma, by forgiving. You don't have to dissect, you don't have to go into it and relive it and talk about it all the time. And stop talking about your family trauma. You know who told me that? My teacher mommy told me that, yeah, she said that to me last year, I believe. And I was like, wow, that's so profound. She said, you've been through bad stuff, yes. But why do you keep talking about it? Don't you know that when you keep talking about it, then you just keep reinvesting your emotions in it over and over and over? And that was, I was like, wow, that is so true. So I'm gonna pass on that advice to you. Stop talking about if you're gonna talk about your family trauma or don't speak about things from a negative perspective. If you're in it, maybe don't talk about it, you know? Like, focus on the good parts of your life and know that you are here, you have a purpose here. Being born into a family of poverty or anything is not meant to break you. It's meant to make you. It's meant to inspire you to want more, to want better. Experiencing sexual abuse, it just teaches you what you don't want for yourself, you know? And these people who have done that, yes, that wasn't good, that wasn't nice, that was sick, but holding on to the anger is punishing yourself doubly for their actions. So free yourself. Forgiveness is how I got over family trauma. Forgiveness and understanding that everyone is doing the best that they can in each moment, and it was not my fault. I released myself from carrying that burden, and I forgave myself for carrying that burden, doing that disservice to myself, and I released and forgave the persons involved, because it doesn't serve me to hold on to the anger. Okay, I really hope that this video has helped you to look forward to the better parts of your life, to release people and release yourself, because you have a beautiful purpose here. And I hope that you embrace your expansion, you know. Walk into every challenge knowing that the intention is that you grow, that you be more enlightened. Okay, this has been Embracing Expansion with me, Finesse. I wish you a beautiful week. It's Sunday and it's the first day of the week. I wish you a beautiful week. Don't punish yourself by taking on any negative emotion for someone else's actions. In fact, just don't take on negative reactions or emotions. It's a disservice to you. You deserve to smile. Don't you think you deserve to smile? You deserve to be happy. You deserve the best. You deserve it. I believe you deserve it. You just have to believe you deserve it too. So I send you love, and I send you light, and I send you healing. Free yourself. Forgive and free yourself.